about that, but I'm not sure about the attendance to this webinar. Okay, so if you agree, we start. And well, let me say hello first and wave to you. If you see me, I will switch off the camera now so we won't lose our bandwidth and you could probably hear me better. Okay. So we are starting our introductory seminar about project management. And I would like to ask you to mute your microphones at the beginning so we won't have this noise in the background, but as far as I can see, all microphones are muted, so thank you for that. If you want to ask anything, please write it down or send me a question at the end of our webinar. I can see right now that some of you need to restart Skype in order to see the presentation. So let me assure you that we will go slowly and I won't say anything important in the meanwhile. So right now we have 16 participants and I hope that you are all able to see the presentation. Okay. So this is the first thing. I won't be able to read all your questions in between the presentation, but as said, at the end, I will really try to answer all of them. Well, first, some general things about this webinar. It won't be a lecture about the course content because everything is written in the materials, in your learning materials in the LMS. I would just like to explain what the goal, objective, and what assignments are you expected to do in this webinar and how to approach them, how to start working on this course. So our goal is just to make you understand project management and to start using it consciously. This means that I'm convinced that you already use some sort of project management in your life. We are all adults here, we all have some experience in, and we all have some special ways to achieve things or to do things. In this course, we are just going to put this into a, well, some sort of perspective, structure it, and use some common names for the things that we are going to do in the course, and later, hopefully, you are going to do during your project work. Our objective here in our course is to make your own common project. So every group is going to do or going to describe a project that they would make or they actually do in their real lives. Of course, we don't have much time here. We only have 3 weeks, so there are just some basic things that we are explaining and starting to do in this course. There's much more to study and to do for the project management, and I'm already now motivating you to start exploring different ways of doing project management. But whatever you do, please do not forget, project management is not science, it's a discipline. And it is very important to keep doing things in described and defined way, to communicate this to other team members if you are making a project in a team. And now the purpose of our webinar, of our talk here, is just to explain what we, the team that prepared this course, were trying to achieve during this course, and how we expect you to do your assignments, or what learning approach do we want to take in this course. Another thing maybe you will see, I'm not a fan of long presentations and huge PowerPoint files, so I don't think that we are going to, you probably see that we only have 17 slides for this webinar here, and I'm not expecting you to make long presentations and prepare long assignments as well. It is only important that you communicate clear what you think has to be done, and to write exactly what needs to be done, not too much, not to explain things that are not important in a project actually, and in your work as well. So let me present the group that prepared this course. We are 3 teachers here. My name is Tanja Kocijan-Stjepanović. I'm from Maribor, from Slovenia. I'm a senior project management teacher at Doba faculty, but actually I also have my own company, and I do projects for living for last 20 years or so. So, my basic education actually is technical. My master's was in robotics, and sometimes you will feel this. I'm a bit, well, how to say, technical, not so soft, or, yeah, well, I don't want to use too much words to explain things that are not necessary. The other colleague you probably already know is Jelena Janevska. She will lead the second webinar and explain project structuring to you. And our third colleague is Pinar Eraslan Yainoglu from Turkey. She will lead the third webinar and close, so to say, our project management course with some closing explanation and presenting some cases from project management. Your tutor is Mina Mazuzi, and you probably also know her already. Okay, so just few words about the course. It takes 3 weeks, and we will go through learning materials that is divided into 3 bulks of text, with some additional audiovisual material, so actually with some clips from YouTube that are there just to explain or to illustrate the things that are written in the text. Your work during these 3 weeks will be to go through this text, of course, and prepare 6 assignments. 4 assignments are teamwork, because everything in project management is about teamwork, and project is only as successful as the team that does it. So you will present your own project and describe it in a certain way. I will talk about this later. But you will also have 2 individual assignments, which will be also described later. When you work in teams, you need to select team leader for each assignment, and please change the team leader for every assignment. So don't have the same team leader through whole the course. Divide assignments so you will see how you work in a group. Of course, I know that you already were working in groups, and I hope you are already used to teamwork and you understand your team's dynamics. And there's another request that I would like to put in your hearts. Finish your work on time and file it in described forms, so we, your teachers, are able to find them and to rate them. Okay. So, except of these materials that you already have in your learning environment, there are also 3 webinars that you can follow if you wish. The first one is this that we are in right now. It's about the course and assignments and how to approach this course. The second one is going to be very focused on the content of the work of the second week. It's so my colleague Jelena Janiewska will explain this project structuring and work breakdown structure to you. So, and it is also connected to one of your team assignments. This second webinar is on November 15th, and 5 days after that, on November 20th, Pinar will have a brief summary of the course content and will show several project cases just to motivate you or to show how things can be done. And as said, please use video material that is listed in your learning environment and also in your text materials. But as said, it is there to illustrate things and to show how different authors show the same thing. Because project management is a skill or branch that is developing very fast, and it is and there are enormous numbers of different materials, books, theories about project management that are available right now online or in books. So you are welcome to use all of them or to use the type of project management that suits best to your personality and to your type of work. But think of that the basics are always the same. And if you are going to go through these different sources, different materials, you will feel that there are some things that are fixed, that are typical, and they can only be approached from different angles, but in the basis, project management is quite simple, and it requires mostly discipline and a lot of communication. Just a few words about grading, how you will earn your grade in this course. As said, you will have 6 assignments, 4 group assignments and 2 individual assignments, and every assignment has its own weight, so to say. For instance, the first one, team project, the one that you are going to define within your team, has 20%. Then the next assignment is individual and will have 30% or 30 points. The third assignment is again team assignment with 10 points, and then again one individual assignment with 10 points, and then 2 more team assignments with 20 and 10 points. The deadlines are listed and are of course in your materials as well as in your description of work. Okay, do we have any questions so far? No, I think everything is clear. At least I don't see any new questions. So let's go to the project content a bit. So in the, okay. Okay, what do you mean by the, okay, I will answer this question from Violeta Stefanowska when I will describe your first assignment. Which is going to be very, very soon now, because we are very near to that. I just want to say that in first week, you are going to learn about project management in general. So, what is a project? There are so many definitions about that, what is a project, and I suggest or encourage you to pick the one that you think is most natural to your way of thinking. There are some of them are listed in your materials, and there are many more on the internet. So think of that, but beware that there are some things about project that are fixed. For instance, project is a one-time action. It is not repeatable like a process. So it's singular, it's one-time action. It always has its end. This is very important. Projects always have an end. Yeah, it's true that sometimes they are not successful, or there's sometimes they just die out because no one is dealing with that project, but they always have an end, and they have limited resources for the execution of this project. Then you will learn, or you will read about project phases, how many phases we define in a very classical project management. And there is also a way of describing projects that I like very much, I must say, because maybe this is connected with my technical background. These are project vectors. So we can use 6 project vectors to describe a project. And this is actually what I would expect from you to do for your project. So describe a project with the help of these vectors to make someone who doesn't have much time and much patience to understand what the project is about. These vectors can help him understand your project and hopefully in some cases finance it as well. Then you will learn about project dimensions, so the facts about project, and project stakeholders. It is very important that you understand who are your project stakeholders. So the persons or institutions that have particular interest in your project. And the first assignment comes from this general description of the project. So you, as a team, need to pick your own project that you are going to deal with throughout these 3 weeks. It shouldn't be a small project. The duration of this project should be at least 6 months and has to be realized by a bigger team. So I don't know, maybe 7 or more people that are engaged in this project, or few smaller groups that are engaged in this project as well. What is the content of this project? Something that you all in the team understand. Pick whatever you think appropriate. Startup company, as Violeta Stefanovska suggested, is a good example of a project, but you should try to test it against 6 vectors. Can you define these 6 vectors for your project? Test it with the whole team and decide if this is the project that you want to work on during this 3 weeks. When you decide on your project, prepare a PowerPoint presentation, which is actually your assignment, this PowerPoint presentation, which is meant for the stakeholders. Result of this presentation, so imagine that you are on a meeting and you present your project to stakeholders, and the result of this meeting has to be so-called go-no-go statements. So stakeholders have to decide if they will support this project. So what does mean support this project? If the stakeholders are the ones who are financing it, they should decide that they think their money is invested good in this project and they will support it. If your stakeholders is your higher management in your company, again, they decide for this project, so they give a go to this project. If they decide that they are going to give you resources to execute this project, and so on. So it depends on your project, but the result has to be some sort of project approval. So when you prepare your presentation, it shouldn't be more than 10 can be a CCR project. What is CSR? Please describe this to me, Danica. Okay, your presentation shouldn't be more than 10 slides long, but you record your description. You record with this PowerPoint your description of the presentation. So you record what you would tell the stakeholders on this meeting. The first slide of this PowerPoint should be a description of who you are, or who you represent. Of course, you are Team 1 or Team 2 or Team 3 of the e-PROFMAN project, but explain to us in this presentation whom do you represent? For instance, you are a startup company that wants to do that and that and that. So in this sense, somehow. Then on the second, corporate CSR, corporate social responsibility is, well, as far as I understand, this is for me very undefined. A project has to have a tangible result, so a product or a service. If this corporate company is doing some kind of a project, yes, but what is the result? A company by itself is not, so it can be done through, okay, yes, it can be done through CSR, yes, I agree on that. But you have to define what is the result. How do you measure? So if you are, when you are going to study your materials, you will see that one of the vectors is also the measurement. So how do you measure your result? How do you know if your project is successful? If you build a product, you can know, you can measure this. Okay, good. We said first slide is about who you are. The second one is list your stakeholders. So just write a list who you think your stakeholders are. So the ones who are interested or who are involved also indirectly in your project. So this can be finance. So for instance, if you have this humanitarian project, who are the ones who will gain from this project? Who is the target group of this project? They are all stakeholders. And if the target group is very wide, who can represent this group, these stakeholders on the meeting? Think about that. And then in your presentation, describe the 6 vectors of your project. So why are you doing this project? What are you doing? What is the approximate? Can you provide examples of vectors? Yes, they are in the materials. The examples of your of these vectors are in your learning materials. Okay. And this is actually your assignment. So prepare this PowerPoint which will describe your project through these 6 vectors. And of course, convince stakeholders to support this project. And how will we know if the stakeholders are convinced? Well, your project will be reviewed by peers, so by other teams, and you will send, and with help of our Nina, you will get to know who reviews your project. So as you see here, for instance, Team 2 reviews the project of Team 1, Team 3 reviews project of Team 2, and so on. And who reviews okay, so I think it's logical. And Team 1, of course, reviews the project of the last team. I think it's number 15, or I'm not sure. Okay, so the deadline for your assignment is November 13th. The November 13th is the deadline to prepare your presentations, and November 15th is deadline for feedback by reviewing teams. Okay? Okay. Then at the same week, you can already start your second assignment, which is individual. And we call it, you know, so maybe a bit in a jargon, we call it project detective. This assignment is a little bit special because it starts at week 1 and your deadline is at the end of the course. Why do you have so much time? Because it covers actually the whole course content. Again, why is that? You will get information about a project. It is actually a small project that is done by an IT team for a sausage shop. So an owner of a sausage shop wants to go online to sell his sausages online, and he hires an IT team to create this the website for them. And of course, the project is not finished on time. So the owner of this sausage shop asks a consultant, invites a consultant to review the project and explain what went wrong in this project. And this is your work. So you have to find out, to explain, what do you think that went wrong in this project. You will get the materials that the consultants also usually get: project description, project plan, and project team reports. And then you try to find out, to employ a little bit of an detective work to find out what went wrong in this project, and propose the changes in the project team or project work that you think are necessary in this team to make projects work in the future. So in this individual assignment, you are the project consultant. Your task here is to find what is wrong in the project management approach of the project team that programs this website and actually the whole web application. There are few things about this website. And how can you do it? Yes, you have to use the knowledge that you get through the course, through all assignments, and at the end you are able, by my opinion, to see what went wrong in this project. But you have time until the 26th of November to prepare the report of a project consultant. Okay, I hope that this is understandable. Well, and maybe a few words about grading. As I said, we have the 6 assignments. I will be grading the first one and the second one. So the project description, the project presentation, and your detective work. So what do you think that went wrong in the project, and what would you suggest to the team, to the project team, to do better, different in the next projects? Okay, then we move into week 2. I must admit to you that week 2 is probably going to be quite hard on you. And I have deliberately put this sentence by Winston Churchill on this slide, because he was the one who said the famous sentence that we also very much appreciate in the classical project management. This is the sentence that project plans are of no importance, but the planning, so the process of planning, is important. And this is something to take home from this project management course. But besides from project planning, we are first going to deal with the project team, what types of project teams are out there, and again, there are very much there is very much variety in the project teams that can be used, but there are three basic types that are nowadays used for project execution, and it is also your task to pick the one that would be best for your project. And while we learn about the project team, so what types are there, hierarchical, metrics, and combined, and how to achieve good communication, you will also learn about roles and tasks of project manager. So when you take the role of a project manager, what is expected of you? And let me again emphasize, communication is a very important part of managing projects. And from your background, I hope and I expect that you are going to be very good at these tasks. Then you are going to plan your project, so you're going to learn about the elements of a good project plan, and specifically you are going to prepare a project, to learn how to make a project schedule, and this is what you will learn in the second webinar that is going to take place in the second week. Okay, now assignment in this week. It is your team assignment is again dealing with your team project, and it's the description of your project's team organization. So which organization do you pick? Because you have the liberty to pick here, because it's not a real project, so you have the liberty to choose the best organization that you think would be suitable for your project, and explain who is in that organization, what are the reporting lines in your project team, and also very important, what is the rewarding system? So how do you plan to reward team members in your project? Deadline for this assignment is November 16th, and maybe a little challenge, or just a little how can I say, just a little game that you can play, but it's still connected to project management, is the one that is under this link, that pmgame.com. It's quite fun game, so I suggest you try it, and maybe let me know how successful you are. The next assignment in this week is again individual assignment, and you will be expected to think about risks that can occur in your team project. Please list 7 risks, 7 situations that might occur but you wish they wouldn't. Describe them shortly in the table as you see it here. Assess its probability, so how probably is it that this will happen, assess and use the very simple scale here, just low, medium, high, and similar the potential damage, again, low damage, medium damage, and high damage. Then propose mitigation activities. So these are activities that avoid risk, that make you avoid risk, or make it smaller. So the consequences of the risk, if it happens, could be made smaller with these mitigation activities. So, and if you list 7 risks in this table, the 3 ones that have the highest, well, product is not the right word, but where the probability and the damage is both high, for instance, they have to be managed in your project, and this would be the mitigation activities that eliminate or diminish this risk will need to be included in your project plan. So this is the idea of this assignment. And please do this individually. So everyone should think about risks that they see in the project. Because sometimes we say that we can define project by the things that we know about the project. They are called the known knowns. So what we know, that we know. There are also the known unknowns. So there are some things about the project that we know that we don't know. And this can be addressed with research or other activities that we can plan. But there are also things that we even now don't know that we don't know. And these are risks in your project. And try to think about risks in this way. So find unknown unknowns. What do you don't know that you don't know? It's a bit abstract, I know, but I think that you can find many risks already from your experience. And the 5th assignment in this, so the first assignment in the 2nd week is not very complicated, I would say, and it's fast and short, so you don't have to lose too much time in that. The 2nd is individual, so take your time and concentrate on it by yourself. And the 3rd one is, well, one of the most important assignments in project management. It's a work breakdown structure and consequently the project schedule. I won't lose many words about this in our webinar now, because you will have a special additional webinar on this, how to approach this, how to structure, how to break down your project, and how to make the schedule. And this webinar is going to be on November 15th, I think. And so you will have 1 week to finish this assignment as a group. It's a group assignment. Okay. And in the 3rd week, we are going, so if we did the planning in the 2nd week, in the 3rd week, we are going to execute and finish the project. And project execution is then not so exciting as the planning, of course, but it has to be done, and it has to be done thoroughly, especially the monitoring, the coordinating, the controlling, and the reporting in the project. And For this reason, we very often use project web pages or different types of online project description environments. And your assignment in the third week would be to just propose a structure, a picture of the project web page where you would show your colleagues in the project team and the stakeholders what is important in this project and what is the status of this project. So this is going to be your assignment in that week. And then, of course, a part of the project is project closure, which is first, I would say, quite strict discipline of closing activities, documenting and archiving things, but at the end, there should always be some time also to celebrate the project end. Okay, so this is your sixth assignment. Again, it is teamwork. Again, you have to agree or propose what information and how do you want to present in your project website, to whom, describe please to whom, and why do you think that this information in this website is important. There are some notes about this in your materials as well, so please follow them. What do we expect to see in a project web page, and well, use your imagination to present the project web page as most informative, and of course could be also fun and nice. Okay, so these were the 6 assignments, the 3 weeks. I think it's, yeah, well, it's everything that I prepared to present in this presentation, and now I'm open to your questions. If you still have any, or if you are still in the mood to communicate. Assignment 2 is not, it is individual. Assignment 2 is not a teamwork, it is individual. But you will, when you will read the materials, you will see that this director of the company asks a group of consultants, but which is actually you personally. So you just write your opinion, your explanation of why the project wasn't successful and what would you make, or what would you suggest to this company to make different in the next time. In a type of an essay. Through the forms given? No, there are no. You get the forms that the project team was reporting. So they were reporting to their project manager. Yes, they reported their work to their project manager, and you, as a project detective, will have to find out why the project failed. How should you present the web page? You can just make a drawing with Word or whatever. Yes. you analyze the materials and write an essay. Perfect. Yes, that's what I expect. The web page, for the last assignment, you just draw it. You use Visio or Word or whatever tool you are used to. You just put the elements on the picture and explain to us what do you want that these elements show. Okay. Are there any other questions? Mm-hmm. Yes, Violeta, yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm waiting for one message. No? Oh. No problem. I was glad to do it, and I really hope it is helpful. And well, I hope that you will learn to like project management as I do. Yes, you're welcome. I said I did it gladly. So if you have any questions and everything, you already know how to contact us or, well, all the teachers. We are all here to help you and to make you learn something new. Okay, bye. Okay, so I think there are, yeah, I'm glad that you liked the presentation, and it seems that we don't have any more questions. So I'm closing this webinar with this and wish you a lot of new knowledge and well, some good times with this project management course as well. Okay, Martina is typing a message.